first death was planned. Long ago, before the stars had names, and before the moon learned to shine, the world was quiet. There was no death, no endings, only endless life. The trees never shed their leaves, the rivers never dried, and creatures great and small lived forever. But the world was heavy with too much life, too much crowding, too much noise. The earth groaned under the weight of so many souls, and the sky grew tired of holding up the endless days. The first ones, the beings who shaped the world, saw the problem. They gathered in the heart of the great forest, where the oldest tree stood, its roots deep in the earth and its branches brushing the heavens. They spoke in whispers, for their voices were too powerful for the world to bear. "This cannot go on," said the eldest among them, a being of shadow and light. "Life must have an end, or there will be no space for new beginnings." The others agreed, but none knew how to bring such a thing into the world. Death was not yet born. It had no shape, no name, no purpose. Then one of the first ones, the smallest but the wisest, spoke. "If death must come, let it be planned. Let it be fair. Let it not be a thief in the night, but a guest who knocks before entering." And so they began to weave the first death. They took threads of time, strands of sorrow, and a single drop of mercy, and they shaped it into a form. A traveler, cloaked and quiet, with hands as gentle as they were firm. They named this being the Endwalker, and they gave it a task: to visit every living thing once and only once when the time was right. The first ones knew that the first death must be meaningful. It must teach the world what it meant to say goodbye. And so they chose the oldest creature in the world, a great tortoise whose shell bore the marks of countless years, whose eyes had seen the first sunrise. The tortoise was wise and weary, and when the Endwalker came, it did not flee. The two sat beneath the ancient tree, and the Endwalker spoke softly. "Your time has come," it said. "The world must learn to let go." The tortoise bowed its head, understanding. "Then let my passing be a lesson," it replied. "Let them see that endings are not to be feared, but honored." And so the first death happened not in darkness, not in pain, but in peace. The tortoise closed its eyes, and its great spirit slipped away like a sigh. The trees trembled, the rivers stilled. The creatures of the world felt a strange new feeling. Loss. They gathered around the tortoise, touching its silent shell, and for the first time they understood. Life was precious because it was not forever. The first ones watched, and they knew their plan had worked. The world would now have cycles, birth and death, growth and decay, day and night. The Endwalker walked on, visiting each creature in its turn, never rushing, never forgetting. And though sadness came with death, so too did gratitude for the time that had been given. From that day on the stars shone brighter, for they knew their light would one day fade. The wind sang sweeter, for it knew its song was not endless. And the world, though no longer eternal, became richer, deeper, full of stories worth telling. And so even now, when the night grows quiet and the old tales are whispered, we remember the first death. The one that taught the world how to live. The end.